broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Hello, everyone, and thank you for attending today's session on creating tagged and accessible PDFs. I will be demonstrating a pre-release version of PhantomPDF 9.1. It is due out shortly, so I'm giving you kind of a sneak preview here. Again, I'm Didi Kato. I'm the Senior Director of Marketing here at Foxit, and I just wanted to let you all know that please feel free to ask questions during the presentation. You are all in listen-only mode, but I encourage you to ask questions as we go along, and I will answer them at the end of the session. So here's the agenda. I'll just briefly go over who we are. I know there's actually a lot of you that are new to Foxit. And then I'll go right into the demo. So I have a number of things I have planned here for creating tagged and accessible PDFs. We'll start with the scan document. There's an action wizard that'll help you navigate through tagging the document. We'll look at remediating tables. I couldn't get to the fillable form, so we'll skip that. We'll go right into remediating tables, and then automation with another product of ours called PDF Compressor. And then we'll go into the some of the Windows accessibility settings as well. And then at the end, we'll open it up for Q&A. Okay, just at a high level, Foxit has been around since 2000. So we've been around for about 16, 17 years. Our core technology basically addresses three different markets. We have the end user productivity tools, such as Phantom. It's a PDF editor. We have server automation tools, which are does back-end automation, and I'll also demonstrate PDF Compressor that lives in that family. And then our third solution is the developer toolkit. And so, in fact, you'll see here a lot of our customers actually use our SDK, Google Chrome, Gmail, Google Docs. We also provide technology for larger applications such as NASDAQ, Home Depot, Evernote. And so we actually started out in the market with our SDK, which became very popular amongst a lot of vendors and applications. And then we're also integrated with hardware platforms such as HP, Acer, Dell is a new one, and then also with scanners like Panasonic and also and other vendors. So you'll see that, in fact, there's many people using our technology, right? You may not know it because it is embedded. Our engine is embedded in a lot of these other platforms, but in fact, you probably are using it today. Okay, company overview. So again, we've been around for about 16, 17 years. We have accomplished leadership in the PDF space. In fact, we have lots of, we're this overall solution for PDFs when I talked about those three different solutions. And most of all, we have lots and lots and lots of users. These are the 475 million users are our actual paid license users. For government specifically, lots of success in courts. As we know, courts use a lot of documents. Lots of successes in other areas, other departments, in state, local, and also federal agencies. Here's some other major companies that use our products. So you can see we're very successful in highly regulated markets. So financial services, healthcare, insurance, legal. Legal is big with us as well because, of course, they use a lot of documents. And so let's get right into the demo. Okay, so I know you're all anxious to see this. So again, here's the agenda. I'll go right into remediating a scan document, for example. Okay, in this case, it's basically a document that I scanned in. This is one of our sample documents on creating court-friendly PDFs. And you can see that it's a little bit skewed. It's not quite aligned, right? And it's just has lists, as images. So let's go right into optimizing it. Okay, so the first thing I want to do in Phantom is I want to deskew it, and I'll also make it OCR, which makes it text searchable. So that's going through page by page. And of course, we have automation for large quantities of documents. That's where the server automation tools come in handy. But this one we're showing the PDF editor. Okay, so that's working, and you can see now that it's aligned, right? It's straightened out, and I just want to show that is all now text searchable. Let's put in a search, something to search on. See, and it found that text. So now we know it's text searchable. Let's go ahead and look at whether it's tagged. No, it's not. So let's tag it. And you can see that I've auto-tagged it. And let's do a full check. Okay, so when you do a check, there are some issues with it. And you'll see how fairly simple it is to change the tags to make it accessible. So the first thing you see here is for the bottom footer, it's found that as headers. So I want to delete all that. So it's a simple matter of just right-clicking, deleting the tags. Okay, let's do another check. Okay, and then we found some other issues. And again, it's just a matter of right-clicking and fix. Fix that. Primary language, you always have to put in the language, English, and then let's go ahead and add a title. Okay, so that's done. Okay, so everything passed. And let's look at the reading order. So you can see that I identified headers, table of contents. A lot of this was done through our auto tagging. Found the header, some paragraphs, and you can of course change it just as easy as I showed you earlier. You know, it found the list items. That's pretty much it. Let's look at the page content order, the reading order. Make sure that's all correct. Yeah, looks good. Okay, I want to save it. Okay, so we all know that you know you definitely want to test it within the Acrobat family, and so we're recommending that you go ahead and test the remediated document within Adobe Reader. We know that's pretty pervasive out there, and so you just want to make sure that it works with the reader. If you try to use Phantom, we are working on improving that. We have some issues, so we do recommend right now that you go ahead and just use JAWS and Reader.
PDF Acrobat Reader TC Contents Heading Level 1, page has 3 headings and no links. Friendly PDF has PhantomPDF heading level 1 contents list of 22 items. Introduction free creating electronic appellate briefs. Original proceedings overview 41 saving / network. Little PDF 52. Bookmarks 7 free. Protecting 94. Text hash searchable 12 5. Fixing mistakes and Foxit PhantomPDF 13 6. Replacing pages 14 7. Combinative 8. Creating Electro 1. Chronological index 17. 2 to 3 for reasons 9.5. Common mistakes 22.
Okay, so I'm just tabbing down just to kind of get through this document.
List end. Format. Check with Eckhart's website FNYORFL in your document. Left parent S right parent with tones or FNYOMATHERIC Clearements or get B.tools.
Okay, so you can just see that it's
processor. The primary for creating an electronic for original procedures your work. Foxit PhantomPDF. Foxit PhantomPDF sets the standard C.basic steps. List of 4 items.
Okay, so it found the list items, right? So we can go through that. So then let's go through the next demo. The next demo is using the Action Wizard. So this is also something new for this release. And in this case, it's again another skewed document I scanned in. Let's go ahead and optimize it, deskew it, and make it text searchable. Okay, so it's nice and straight now. And let's go ahead and do the, let's go with the Action Wizard. Okay, so you run the action and you simply make accessible, and this will walk you through what's required to make this accessible. Simply start it. Okay, first thing you need is the title, right? As we did it manually in the previous document. Okay. And next thing it's requiring is the language. Yep. Okay. There's no form fields in this document. Yep. Confirm. Okay. And then it's going to do the checking. So again, this is basically all automated. You can see that the page content order is right, where you have the heading is number 1, 2, 3. It reads down. That all looks good. And of course, this can be changed if you like. I don't like that 9 there on the page number. It detected it as a heading. And also some of these paragraphs, right? It looks like it detected some of these paragraphs as heading 2. Okay, so let's just show you how to change this. Just simply select it and then make it text. Select it and make it text. Okay, page content order. Okay, now let's go through the actual tags. And you'll see here, I don't like that H3. I don't like that page number, so I'm just going to delete it. Okay. So that's that. Okay. So that was that demo. The next thing I wanted to show is tables. So in the last webinar, if you haven't seen the first webinar, we did it when we first introduced the product. So I encourage you to watch the first webinar. There were a lot of questions about tables. So now I'll demonstrate a simple table for you. Okay, so I'm starting from a Word doc just to show you what I did. And this is a BART. it's our local transit here. It's a BART schedule. And so I'm just simply saving it as a PDF. Okay, so now it's just a regular table. And the first thing I want to do is auto tag it. Well, I'll show you the check. Of course, the check's going to show you that. Even converting from Word, right? And the reading order. So you can see that the reading order, it's it's not right. Okay, so let's auto tag it. And now it detected it was a table, but it's all table data, right? We want the headers and we want the rows. So I simply select and drag the top headers, right click, make them headers, column headers. Okay. And now the rows, do the same thing. Select it, right click, make them rows. In that top cell, I want to make it both. Okay, now I want to save it, and I'll show you how it's read out. Just call it Phantom. So now let's read it out with JAWS.
JAWS Professional. Weapon art demo. Items view multi-select list box. Bird schedule original row column dot context menu to navigate. Press up or down arrow.
Okay.
Open mode. Leaving menus. Weapon art demo. Items view multi-select list box. Bird schedule original row column phantom.pdf document.
Okay, so let's go ahead and read it.
Ashley left parent. Berkeley right parent.
So
Oakland.
I'm just tabbing through.
Darrow left parent, SF right parent, Montgomery ST left parent, Powell ST left parent, Haley City, Colma, San Bruno, Millbrae, AM.
Okay, it said AM. It's really AM, but okay.
412. Column 2, row 2, Richmond, 4.
Okay, so I hit Control-Alt-5, right? That's one of the hotkeys for JAWS, and it's reading the column header, Richmond, and then the row, it's calling it AM, and then 412.
12. 416. Column 3, row 2, Ashley left parent, Berkeley right parent, 416.
Okay, so you can see that it wherever you put the cursor, it's going to read the column header, and then the row, and then the value. Okay, so that was the test of that. So there were a lot of questions about complex tables, so let's take a look at this one. This one basically has a merged cell here, right? Some of these cells are merged, and I'll show you how to scope it. So same thing. I started this out from a Word doc, and I simply created the PDF. Okay, so the reading order, okay, not bad, but let's look at the structure types. Okay, it detected some of the headers, but not the rows. So let's go ahead and fix that. So you click on it. And so if you have trouble enabling the table editor, make sure you click on Show Tables and Figures, and then you'll enable the table editor. Okay, so it's not quite right. Let's go ahead and fix it. I'll select Organic and Conventional. Right click, Okay, I want it to span 2 columns each. So each of those are going to span 2 columns. Now these headers, column headers, they're only spanning 1 column each. But I just want to make sure that those are column headers. Okay. For the rows, farmer's market, grocery store, those are each 1 cell. And so again, I just want to make sure that they are tagged as rows. Okay, now that source, this one is spanning 2 rows. All right, so I want to make sure that that's considered both, and it's spanning two rows. Okay, so that's done. Let's save it. Okay, now let's go ahead and test it with some of the JAWS hotkeys.
JAWS Professional subscription.
Okay, so I'm going to tab through.
JAWS version 2018. Complex table Phantom.pdf Adobe Acrobat Reader PC. Source. Organic. Conventional. Source. Peaches. Watermelon. Peaches. Watermelon. Farmer's Market. Color for LP. Column 2. Row 3. Organic Peaches Farmer's Market.
Okay, so I hit the hotkey Control-Alt-5 to read that cell, and it read Organic Peaches Farmer's Market, right?
Color for LP. Color 5 each.
Hotkey.
Column 3, row 3, Organic Watermelon Farmer's Market. Dollar 5 each.
Okay, so it went Organic Watermelon Farmer's Market, $5 each.
Dollar 3 per LP. Dollar 4 each. Grocery store. Dollar 4 per LP.
Okay,
I'm
tabbing through. Let's try this one.
Column 3, row 4, Organic Watermelon Grocery Store. Dollar 6 each.
Okay, so that's basically the complex table. So that's pretty much with the what I wanted to show with tagging and making PDFs accessible. I do have some other things here that might be of interest. So for those that are using Phantom as well, we want to make sure that it's fully accessible to them. And so we have some settings here. You can set high contrast colors, and so we've enabled that. You need to set it up, and that's all done through integrating with Windows controls. Okay, and this just walks you through how to set up accessibility for people that are actually using Phantom, and then you can see here that it just changes the contrast, and you can change different colors, etc. Okay. And then the last thing here is the automation with PDF Compressor. So this is part of our server family of products. And so if you have a large number of documents that need to be remediated, then this will be very useful. You just simply drop your files into a folder, and there's a Windows service that runs in the background that does the conversion for you. Okay, so I'll show you quickly how that looks. So here's another skewed document. This is a TIFF file. Okay, so here's the service. It's basically a Windows service, and it's running in the background. I drop files. This TIFF file, I just simply put it into a folder. And with PDF Compressor, I want to make sure that it's set properly to look into the right folder. Okay, so if I go to Properties, it tells me here the input will be in this folder, PDF Compressor files, right? And there's lots and lots of things you can do with this automation. You can do any types of conversions from any format to any format. PDF-A is big for governments for archiving now, so you can make that possible and automated through this product. There's a lot of processing you can do after it's processed. You can have it run applications, and of course OCR to make it text searchable. And compression technology, of course, we have a very high level of MRC compression that'll give you very good results. Okay, so with the output, you want to go to output and then advanced settings. You want to go to the last tab, advanced, and you simply check box add structure tags. Okay. And so now I have that TIFF file in there. I just want to start. And it's doing its job. You can have this automated as well. I have it manually set, so I had to start it. I open up the PDF. Okay, and there's the PDF. You notice it is PDF-A, right? So PDF-A means it's archived, and it's for security reasons. But let's go ahead and enable it. And you can see that the document is no longer skewed. And it is tagged. And let's look at the tags. So you can see here that it caught some of the captions. Let's go ahead and look at the structure type. So it did catch that it's a header and paragraphs. All right, and of course you can make any changes that you want, again, with Phantom. So we are looking at the file within Phantom. So you can use all the same controls to change any of these tags. Okay, and one thing I didn't show, well, let's look at make sure it's text searchable. Okay, let's search for something. Okay, so it found oxygen. One thing I didn't show earlier is that we can now create tags, right? If you want to create a new tag, and there's a number of things, again, automation. Do you want it a header, or do you want it a list item? Do you want it a table, right? So I'm going to make it a heading level, and I can just create that tag from selection. So I don't even have to type it in. I just select it, and there's a drop-down create tag from selection. So now it created ozone as a tag. Okay, so I didn't even have to type it in. So those are some of the features with that we have with both PhantomPDF, and I showed you the PDF compressor. We have time, I wanted to go over some other solutions that we have for government, specifically for government. Again, starting out at a high level, I talked about these 3 different solutions we have, right? So I talked about the PhantomPDF in the user productivity family. We have enterprise automation, which I showed you, PDF compressor. We also have a product called Rendition Server, which is more of a web service that needs to be integrated with other applications that does similar things, does compression and OCR and tagging, etc. And then we have our developer toolkit, which has been around for ages, and that's basically the core PDF technology that a lot of applications use. So briefly, I wanted to go over some of the government solutions that we've had many successes in. So there's the paperless. Of course, a lot of governments are moving from paper to digital, right? Open government, there's a lot of now mandates around FOIA, and and making public disclosures available for the public as part of the open government effort, right? So we have solutions around doing that. Citizen engagement and personnel self-service. So a lot of citizen engagement as government agencies work with the public is around forms. So as you capture that data and those requests, we have technology, of course, for creating forms. We also have number 4 is speeding processes with real-time secure collaboration. So this is an area that's fairly new for us, where we have now you can collaborate on documents similar to Google Docs, right? So you can see real-time changes with people that you're collaborating with. And of course, it's in a very secure environment, which is required for government. Optimizing readership. Our technology has the ability to also have insight into what your readers are doing within a document. You know, what pages they're on, or how long they're spending on certain pages. It also has insight into what they're doing, if they're signing documents, if they're copying certain sections, right? And so as an author, I want to know what's happening with my document when I send it out there. So again, it's part of optimizing my document, but also for security reasons. I want to know what they're doing with the document. Ensuring security and compliance. We have lots of compliance, FIPS 140-2 and encryption and all that. Also in the product. Number 7 is around mobile. So you can scan, a lot of government agencies, police departments, etc. They're actually using their smartphones now, right, for capturing data. So taking pictures, scanning documents as I showed you, and then turning those into PDFs. And so also you can collaborate on your mobile device. Similar to Google Docs, you can now do a lot of collaboration on your phone. And then number 8, of course, is enabling accessibility. So I wanted to go into each one of these 8 sections in the time that we have left, and then I'll open it up for Q&A. So we know that in government, there's lots and lots of documents. And so scanning, the solutions out there are usually to scan. What happens when you scan? Bloated sizes. The text is not searchable. There's different file types. Sorry, I had to cough. Long-term access, right? So a lot of people are concerned about preserving the information and making that very secure. It's difficult to email because the files are too large. And it takes a lot of storage, especially when you're doing color scanning, right? And there's a lot of manual processing around what they're doing today. So with our technology, this is around PDF Compressor as well, and then Rendition Server also falls into this category, where it does high volume compression conversion. Our compression is done. It's based on MRC technology. It reduces sizes from 50 to 100% times smaller for color, and up to 1/10 the size for black and white. So if you have digital sources, not only scanned documents but digital sources such as Word documents, email attachments, etc., we call that digital born. You can also convert that to PDF or PDFA for archiving, right? So when you archive it, it's self-contained and it's preserved so that years down the road you'll still be able to view it with the right fonts, etc. And so this technology is again a Windows service, or we also have a web service that's available. It's basically an on-premise installation. It's installed in your database, on your data center, and for on-premise solution. So for Rendition Server, some of the use cases are around SAP, for example. Let's say SAP has a finance module, and they need to do some mass conversions of documents, right? So they would use Rendition Server as a service to provide that for the larger applications. And there's a lot of flexibility because it is, in the back end. And this is more about rendition server. And you also notice that, especially for government, automated redactions is required for blocking out sensitive information, and that's also done in our backend server products. Okay, open government. So we know that FOIA, there's a lot of requests for information. It needs to be secure. So, searching and redacting based on patterns, a lot of that, it's done, we have a number of ways to do that. You can do it either through Phantom, if you're doing it file by file, or you can do it through our backend server products as well, right? Now with Phantom, the benefit is we have this office-style ribbon interface, as you saw. You can edit documents basically like a word processor. So the previous webinar that we did, we showed you how you can do that, where a lot of the text you can simply reflow from column to column. There's a lot of features that we embedded into PhantomPDF to make it editable like a Word document. And then, of course, you can export it to different file formats. Also, within Phantom, has a scanning OCR capability. And also, in Phantom, you can create forms. The next webinar, in fact, we're going to focus on form design. So be sure to sign up for that. We also have integration with leading content management systems, right? So SharePoint, iManage, Box, Dropbox. You can pull your files from anywhere, and it has a full protection, password protected, and we have the 3 different editions. So you see here, there's the ribbon interface, which I showed you. This is the organized tab, so you can move, just simply drag and drop and move your pages around, delete pages very easily. And then we also have a plug-in into Office, into Word. So you simply select information, and then it creates a redacted PDF. Okay, that's also available. Solutions around citizen engagement and personnel self-service. So a lot of HR departments use us, right, for forms. Tax departments is another big area that we have many successes in. So this is the ability to create forms, including JavaScript, right? So these are some of pretty advanced forms where you're pulling information from a database, for example. You need the latest and greatest prices, let's say, from in procurement on people that are ordering computers. So you want to pull that information at real time from a database and then put it into the form. So we have that technology. And then, of course, publishing it, you can publish it in a number of areas. Forms and signing is big, and routing, right? So workflow. And that's done through our integration with DocuSign, so that if you have DocuSign, then the power of DocuSign. It basically is able to route your documents and get approvals from different people. So we have that integration with our product. And then another category of products we have is called the Ultraforms. It creates a 2D barcode. And so we have the ability to create a form. It's a PDF form that's available, that you would make available online. People fill it out online. And as you fill out the fields, the fillable fields, it creates a barcode. And so what is that? What's the benefit of that? So once you have that form all filled out, you simply print it out. Many government agencies still require a wet signature. So you're required to sign it. And then when you send that form in to healthcare, or maybe intake for healthcare, it may be a tax. We have a lot of successes in tax departments. As you mail that form in, then the government agency has a scanner that can simply scan that barcode, and it goes directly into the backend database. So it saves a lot of people from re-inputting information, errors, reduces errors, and again, a lot of tax departments use this technology. Okay, real-time secure collaboration. So everybody's talking about this, right? So when you share your documents with other people, you want to make sure that it's fully secure. There are a lot of people, a lot of other vendors that have products on the market that provide basically virtual data rooms where you can share documents within that secure folder. But what happens when you download those documents? Right now, it's out in the wild. People are sending it around. You don't know what's happening with it. And so how do you control those documents after they've been distributed, right? So what we have is technology that's embedded within the document, within the PDF itself, and it provides digital rights management. It travels with the document, right? So now that you have this token that's embedded within the document, you can now control the document. You can easily grant and revoke access to that document. And it's storage agnostic. It doesn't matter where your file is stored, whether it's in your content management system behind a firewall, or whether it's outside in the cloud, or whether it's being sent over email. Because you have that technology embedded in the document, now you can see what's happening with it. So collaboration, you can now collaborate very securely, right, with other people. And you can share information very easily and not have to worry about getting it into wrong hands. So gaining intelligence. So this is important. As you share your documents as an author, you want to know what's happening with your document. You want to know what your readers are doing. So here you can see that this is a document I shared with Shirley. I can see that she checked it into SharePoint. I can see that John added some redaction on page 5. I can see that John protected the document with the RMS, which we have integration with as well, ADRMS. You can see that Carol used DocuSign to sign the document, right? And you can see that Eric turned page from 1 to 9 and stayed on a page for 20 minutes. Okay, so this is great insight now that as an author, I can see what's happening and how useful my document is. So I'm gaining intelligence around that. Why? Maybe to improve the document, but also for security reasons. There's lots of events that we track. I just showed you a handful on the previous slide, but you can see here that there's lots and lots of tracking information you can gain on your documents. Okay, and then we also have reports, as I just showed you, but also you can graphically show it into what people are doing. You can see here 68% actually read the document, which is good, right? Sometimes you send out documents out there, you don't know if they've even read it. So this will show you that they read it, how many people commented, right? Orange shows it's commented. Right? And you can also put a time, this was done in the last 7 days. Number 6, so security in the cloud, right? So this is big. As we share documents, you want to make sure that it's secure. And so we have 256-bit AES encryption for data at rest, SSL for data in motion. We are FIPS 140-2 compliant. And also our cloud offering, because a lot of information is tracked through the cloud. And this is basically the tracking information. It's not the document itself, right? The document can live anywhere. It's just the tracking information on what they're doing with the document. That information is stored in the cloud. And your cloud can be either in a public, we have 2 offerings. We have either a public offering through AWS, but we also have a private on-prem deployment option as well, where it's in your data center. Okay, and if you have on-premise deployment, then of course that ensures data sovereignty, data residency, right? So you know exactly where your data is. A lot of government agencies, they want to know that their data resides on U.S. soil. And so with the on-prem version, you know that it's very secure. Admin controls, very important for government. Auditing logs, you want to make sure that you have full visibility into who's accessing your document, where it's being accessed, any events. You want to also control who can copy, who can edit, who can print. We have also authorization through integration with Active Directory. That's a big requirement for a lot of enterprises. And also registering new versions. So there's also tracking and version control as well. As documents, new versions are put out there, then you want to be notified of those new versions. Okay, 7, so mobile. This is big as well for government. We do support Android, iOS, Windows Phone, and this provides, again, integration with ADRMS. We have full collaboration and annotation capabilities so that you can also do real-time collaboration similar to Google Docs. You have the ability to scan, of course, which is important. And it has all the document tracking and security around that. And then we also have another app. It's a scanner, specifically a scanner app that provides high quality compression. Okay, so those are two apps that are available on the App Store. And then the last thing here, of course, is accessibility. So we are VCAG 2.0 compliant. And you just want to make sure that you have all the bookmarks, that they're in logical order. There's certain things that you need. You may need the images clear and crisp and legible, right? So we have all that technology around PDFs, that they're tagged, and that there's you can also set alt text, right, for all the figures. Okay, so I showed you the accessibility report and the auto checking. So this is basically the summary slide. We do provide everything from building, reviewing the document, approving and publishing it and signing it, right, all the way out through even compression and archiving. And then, of course, once you share it out in the world of the internet, you want to make sure that it's secure and you want to optimize it as people are reading it. And once you optimize a document, it goes back, you may want to republish it, right? Go back into the build cycle. So we have all the solutions around the different touch points. Okay, so that's it with the presentation, just a few things, and then we'll open it up for Q&A. So the next date, I spelled that wrong. Okay, so the next date for our next webinar is on court-friendly PDFs. We have Jim Rebo, who will be talking about why it's important, as he was the former CIO of the New Jersey courts, why it's important to use technology. As we know, courts have lots and lots and lots of documents, and so there's e-filing requirements now, and so he'll talk about the challenges around that and why that's important, and then we'll talk about transforming, PDF specifically into accessible, protected, compressed, etc. PDFs. Yeah. How can you get started? There's a number of documents here you can download. We have white papers on secure collaboration, which is the first white paper there. The second one is around open government and regulatory public disclosures. And the third one is around basically the 8 government solutions I just went over. The last document is, we have a pre-release available. It's around creating court-friendly PDFs, right? And it's basically a how-to manual showing screenshots on how to redact, how to bookmark, all the things you need to e-file. Okay, then of course you can try it yourself. Now I would encourage you to wait until the 9.1 release, which will be due out shortly. We will send you a notice of when that release is available, and then you'll see all the features that I just showed you in the in the earlier part of the webinar. We will be attending NLIT, which will be coming up in May. So come meet us. We'll have a team of people there. So if you're in Nashville during that time, it's a great conference. Come by and see us. Okay. And that's it for the presentation. So I will open it up for Q&A. Okay, there's quite a few questions here. Open it up. Yeah, so there's a question here. Colin, you asked a question about, is Phantom tested against what standard? It is VCAG 2. So that's what Adobe uses, and that's what we're using. Any plans for Mac version? Yes. That's been a hot request, and that is definitely in the works. And so again, we'll send you notification on when that's available. There's a question here about making the recording available. Yes, we will send you the link after the session and also the presentation. Feel free to reach out to me directly, and because I would definitely like to hear your feedback on the accessibility portion. I have a direct line into engineering, and I can get feedback and requirements into the roadmap pretty quickly. But I need to hear from you all. So I would encourage you to contact me if you run into some major issues. Okay. So with that, oh, there is a question around pricing. Yeah, so pricing, we do have both perpetual and subscription pricing, right? We still have the perpetual. A lot of our customers are on the perpetual licensing model, and so that is definitely something that you want to take a look at if that's your need, because I know a lot of other competitors are going to subscription only. Okay, so that's it for now, I guess. Thank you very much for attending today's session. I would encourage you all to stay online because there is a questionnaire at the end of the GoToWebinar. I just want to make sure that we capture your feedback so that we can make improvements for the next session. So please stay online. And so I wanted to thank you all for hanging on here and listening to the presentation. It's been a great pleasure speaking with all of you, and we hope to see you next time. Thanks, and enjoy the rest of your day.